What's up, people? Look, they got this little picture floating around the internet about Black Friday in 1820, and they show a bunch of slaves tied up, and they saying Black Friday is mainly because of the slave trade, and the slave owners had a discount on the slaves and shit like that, man. That shit ain't true, man. Stop. See, people want to rewrite history with this copy and paste type shit. A person can put a picture on anything and give it a narrative, you know what I'm saying? But truth be told, if you want some history, and you can look it up, because see, nobody like to research. They like to hear what a person says. If it sounds good, then they regurgitate that to somebody else. That's that incarcerated mentality that when people get out of jail from being incarcerated a long time, they always trying to fast talk and come up across you with like they got all this knowledge and everything, and some of them do. But that's on another video. But a lot of what people don't want to think about or don't want to talk about, because we don't want to always look at our own self in the limelight as if we're bad people. You know what I'm saying? It was more black former slaves that owned slaves than white folk. See, we got the narrative to think about. It was all white people and wealthy white folks that had slaves and did away with slavery and just was so sinister. It was just as many black people that was more sinister than white folks that was beating and killing and hanging other African and black slaves. You see what I'm saying? See, we go with the narrative because we look at TV and whatever they gonna program us with, because that's all the television is, straight programming. So they program us with what they want us to believe, which, yes, slavery happened, and yes, it was white folks, but it was also black folks too. It was more slave owners in Africa than anything. You know what I'm saying? I want you to do your research. In 1830, it was 3,775 slaves that were freed. Between them 775 slaves, 12,000 slaves was owned by that 37,750. You see what I'm saying? So there were former slaves that got freed and broken out of bondage, but yet once they got freed, they adapted the mentality of the slave owner, and they also became slave owners to slaves that looked like them. But see, they ain't gonna tell y'all that shit, because y'all ain't gonna believe it, because you don't want to go with it, because you already want to have the finger to point at the next man and say it's the white man's fault, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. You know what I'm saying? We gotta fix us before we even try to get any respect from anybody else and try to hold somebody else accountable for our downfalls. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, yes, it is some kind of suppression upon us or whichever, but shit, 60% of the time, a lot of this shit you don't have to go through. You know what I'm saying? Because you scared to rebel, or you don't want to work against the system. Because it's easier to lay down and just work for it than it is to rebel against it. You see what I'm saying? So check that out though. 3,775 slaves got freed, and out of that 3,775 slaves that got freed, between all of them, they owned 12,000 slaves. 1830. Now, in the next episode of this, I'm going to show y'all the top 5 black slave owners that had really more slaves than the white folk. Or the white counterparts, or you want to say. It's top 5 wealthy black people back in that time, in that era, that had more slaves than white folk. And some of them was more sinister than the white folk. That's on the next episode. Y'all stay cool.